What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Performance Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Jay, and today we have a very special guest. This guy's name is Blakely. He is the F1 Esports 2022 champion with the McLaren Shadow team. Not to mention, they doubled up, I believe, with the Constructors Championship as well. How are you doing, Lucas?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Of course, man. So listen, let's roll into this, all right? Because there are some things I want to get out of this. I want people to get a little glimpse of what it is to be a driver and athlete in esports, and then I also want them to get some gems of encouragement and motivation from you, right? Because I think some people kind of go through some criticisms that are unfair to people that participate and compete in the world that you do, right? So I definitely want to do that. So let's talk about this. First of all, what is it like? Because I want to know. What is it like to be part of an organization and family and a racing team with so much racing heritage as far as McLaren Racing? What's that like, man?
I think you touched on it quite well. I mean, it is quite like a family. I mean, it's first of all a huge privilege that I think even now, even though we've done so much together, I think it's something very hard to still get my head around. Because as a kid looking up to Formula One and looking at the sport I love, and seeing teams like McLaren, and then to now have that power of hindsight and think, wow, look where we are now. So it's firstly a huge privilege, and it's been an amazing. Just an overall amazing experience to be part of such a great group of people. I really enjoy every time I go to the MTC, the factory. I really enjoy speaking to everyone. Everyone's super nice. It's a really nice atmosphere. Really, you leave there feeling good. So it's honestly just a great experience. I love I love working with everybody there, and we've had some good fun together, which is always the icing on the cake. But the things that go into getting those results and getting what we're all working towards. All of those are still very much things I enjoy as part of the journey. Because that's what it's all about.
Man, I appreciate that, but I got to tell you something, man. Jealousy is not the word. The word is like envy, man. Like, what is it like? I hope this is like on my bucket list too. I hope to one day be able to visit the McLaren headquarters and the factory. But what is that like, walking through the doors and seeing all that awesomeness, man? Because everybody's not going to get that experience. Some people are not even going to have the experience of going to a Formula One like event. So what was that like? If you can kind of share your experience with us like that, walking through those doors.
It is I'm very lucky in that respect, because I do think of that sometimes, where when you're walking down the boulevard where you have all the the historic Formula One cars, the McLaren road cars. It's something that you are you're very lucky to be there. And I still remember the first time going there thinking, looking around me thinking, how's this real, because it's so, it's stuff that you think that, you see on your phone or through content, or, you see it on your screens, but you don't, when you see it in reality, your brain just, you can't fully comprehend, everything you're taking in, because you're seeing, going down the boulevard, seeing all these famous Formula One cars that you've watched for years and years, and you're actually, standing right next to them, or, it's like, I don't even know the words to actually describe the emotion. It's very, I remember that it's very encapsulating, I think, is maybe the word when you go there for the first time. It gets you thinking, because you just, I have it so vividly in my mind. It sticks with you, and that's every time I get to go there, I'm always excited. It's such a wonderful place, and it's just. Yeah, I mean, I'm smiling talking about it.
Right, so I can see.
That says everything, So yeah.
I can see, but I'm going to have to challenge you, because you said something you can't put into words. So I'm going to challenge you for a bit. But first, I'm going to read something to try to put this in context for everybody, so they know where we're kind of going with this. All right, now this is a quote. Like, you said that I can't really put it into words how I'm feeling right now. It's more than a dream come true to say that I'm the F1 22 Esports Pro Driver Champion. So many hours and sacrifices have gone into making this moment a reality, and to come away with the title just justifies it all. Now listen, if you all haven't seen the video, like the video in itself, when you watch it, the pure emotions that you had, just literally how it just kind of progressively just kept building was a beautiful thing, man. I think that just embodied what it is to be a competitor, working to be the best that you can be, and then finally like arriving. If you could now, being a bit more removed and maybe having some time to digest it, if you could share some words that might kind of describe to viewers what it was like for you in that moment and how you actually felt. Because I've been a competitor, and I'm kind of getting goosebumps just thinking about the video when I saw you, and it was just crazy. Like, some people don't understand. If you could put into some words to help people kind of understand what that feels like.
Yeah, I mean, I've always worn my heart on my sleeve. That's my nature. That's who I am. I'm very passionate. That's the one. So, that's I always, every time I go racing, every time I do something I love, I always, I don't really hide emotion when it comes to that side of things. When I'm in my element, that's when I'm at my happiest. That's sort of what I feel my purpose is. That's where all that energy comes from. And I think. Okay. With that moment, obviously last year sealing the championship, it was so explosive. I mean, I remember living obviously the moment, but I mean, even as you say, even looking at the video back, it still raises my hairs, because it's just the amount of energy that is not just the energy in the moment, but all the sacrifices, the time you put in, just sheerly how bad you want it. I mean, it comes. That's what for me what it boils all the way down to. When you strip it all back and you look at what makes that moment and the drive to get to that point, I think it's just because how badly I wanted it. I wanted it so bad that it's so hard to describe, like, just how much. It's like everything that I had been dreaming of for months and months and even years since I became a competitor in F1 esports and esports in general. It's just and it's something you start chasing, and once I've got this thing that I like to say, it's like I'm chasing the dream, and that's very much. And when I have my sights focused onto something, I very much become very just super determined and super driven to achieve that one thing, and I'm very, very persistent. I'll keep going until I get that, and I gave it everything last season to try and win that championship. People would not even believe the level of detail, the hours and hours every single day, not taking days off for, weeks at a time, just constantly on that grind, which is just, it's not a case of always, wanting to do it, but at the end of the day, it's the end goal that you're working for, and that's what you've got to remind yourself of. No one's ever going to wake up every day and want to just get stuck into 12 hours of grind non-stop, just driving, reviewing information, trying different things, testing so much things. That list is endless. Like, there's an endless list of stuff that you've got to do, so it's just constant grind, and you've got to just keep focusing on that end goal, because if you lose sight of that, it gets very hard to just push yourself that few percent extra, which is what will make that difference when you've got to go racing. And that's because it's that competitive. You've got to be on your A game every single time, and you've got to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, it's going to show. That is the reality. You can put in some good results here and there, but if you want to have the results every single time, you've got to put in so much work for the tiniest little gain. Marginal. And that's where the difference ends up lying. There's plenty of people that are capable of achieving, great results, great things, very talented, very fast people, but to try and just do it every single time, trying to cope with the pressure, trying to, just dig deeper and deeper and deeper into a zone of driving or a zone of racing that you've never been to before. That's where the percentages come from, and that's what ultimately can determine the fate of a championship. And I learned these things through the last season, but also the last few years is through character building, development personally, the experiences that I've been through, and it's something that I'm very glad that I've been able to share that journey with McLaren through this last season as well, just trying to all push towards that common strive. So when you ask me now, coming back to the original point, why does it? What does that expression and that emotion come from? Where's the source of that?
Right.
Everything that I've just said and more. Like
Add more.
that's where it comes from. It's so deep rooted. We're competitive animals, and albeit we're not on real race cars, we do everything. Everything we do is acted in such a way that we're
Right.
we're super committed. So, the cars might not be real, but the racing very much is.
Right. And you hit on some details that I want to kind of bring into this. And now, everybody kind of knows, like, the phrase or the term, the carrot in front of the horse's face, right? That motivation that stands in front of you, or at the dog track, you'll see that fake bunny going around. And the bad thing is, if the dog happens to get the bunny, what they're concerned about is that the dog may no longer want to be that competitive because if it's reached that end goal. Now, I want to know more so what changed in you as Lucas, not for you, because I think we can kind of see that, right? Like when a person becomes a championship, the experiences they get may be different, or the doors they may open for you might be different. But what inside of Lucas changed going forward, even into this new season of 2023, that will either affect your determination, your motivation, if you could share that?
I think it's something that I've thought about, and it's because you chase this one goal, as you say, you're chasing this dream, this sole thing that you've based your whole life around. You've orientated so many things around this, this sort of shining, your North Star, let's say, right? You're just chasing that, and you achieve it. You've reached that objective, and then there does come you've got that nice period after where everything's great and you're super happy. But very, very quickly for me, I mean, even the month following, I was back at McLaren talking to people, and I was just thinking to myself, damn, I'm just as hungry to to repeat that same feat. It's just that drive didn't dim down. The fire still burns.
Nice.
And I'm very much and I've had a lot of time to think of these things, and I still think of them even recently, just thinking to myself, got another season ahead, we've got I know how much it took to win just that season, and what it's there. I can see the path ahead and anticipate the amount of work it's going to take, and I think it's the amount of work it's just, you have that idea. So going forward, I think I have the fire's not changed. That's still going to be there. That's not going to go anywhere. But I think the way that I maybe go about it doesn't change, let's say, a lot. But you have, I guess, to sum it up in a very simple term, is you get to sit back and relax and think, well, I won the championship last year. That's always going to be there.
Right.
That is my championship. I've won it, and I get to go chase this championship, and that's always going to be there. It's a sense of you don't need to fear of losing that championship. That's yours. That's mine. So, and that's ours as a team as well. From collectively,
Correct.
last season. So I get to approach it in a sense of, I don't think desperation is the word. I don't need to be so worried on the fact of, will I ever win it, sort of thing. That box has been ticked. Now I wanna I'm very, I think that's what I was gonna say. I think I'm very, I don't know if the expression is fear of failure, but I despise losing. Like, I always think about the next thing. I don't want to be. I just don't see I don't want to be winning championships, winning races, for it then just to fall. And I can't. It doesn't sit right with me. I couldn't sit here and do another season and not give it the same amount that I did in the season just gone by. I mean, I think the expression, fear of failure, whatever way you want to spin the words,
right,
that's what sort of drives me very much forward again, because I don't want to have a downfall,
right,
through lack of commitment, lack of work. So as long as I always give it everything and I can keep my results up there, then that, and help the team strive forward and achieve new heights, and be the best version of myself I can, not just for my own performances but as a team, because that is something that is very maybe isn't focused on as much as it could be in F1 esports and the sim racing, and just how important having that synergy as a team is. That's a whole, conversation on its own.
Right, it is.
So I think, I'm very driven in the sense of I don't wanna fail. I wanna be living up to, I think, my own standard as well, because I am my own.
There you go.
I'm my own worst enemy. I'm my own biggest critic. I put so much pressure on myself. The biggest source of anything will always become from myself. I don't. It's not so much about the external pressure or the expectation. I mean, the biggest expectations, the biggest pressures, the biggest demands all come from me. That's the way my brain and my ethic and my work has been wired for the last couple of years, and it's sort of me also discovering how I operate as a person, as a competitor, all these different categories. So that it's I've learned a lot. And I've learned a lot, and I'm going to continue to learn, which is one of the things I also love going forward. Because we talk about, what does it look like now that you've achieved that goal? I'm still chasing more goals. I mean, I'm still chasing the dream. There's always another dream that I want to achieve, whether it's
another championship too, right?
Exactly. I mean, I want to. I always want to be chasing that next objective. I chased the championship, last season. I want to continue with that same approach, going forward to the future season. That's sort of how I sort of look at it. I guess.
That's how you approach it, right? And that kind of falls in line with other great drivers. And now you are a part of a line of championship drivers at McLaren Racing, right? And so, like you said earlier, marginal differences can make exponential outcomes and changes. And a lot of people don't understand that, the minute details that you put into your craft. But see, you've talked about a lot of things that are very valid and very true. And you have my utmost respect as an athlete and a competitor, no doubt. I respect it. And I was happy for you, man. And when I saw that video, like I said, I was even more happy for, just to see somebody get something they've worked so hard for. But there are a lot of people out there that are working in a capacity, trying to aspire to levels that you've reached. You've reached elite levels. But was there ever a time and experience that you had where people well, what are you doing? Is this something that you really want to do, and still kind of titling you as a gamer? Because I think that's a bit off for people to say you're just a gamer. You're a competitor, you're an athlete, you're a driver. So how did you respond to that emotionally, mentally, and how would you positively motivate others to respond to that so that they don't get determined or detoured from doing their goals or accomplishing their goals?
I think I'm quite lucky in the sense that when it comes to, because a lot of the time with this, let's say the stigma that you have, it can maybe come from close relatives, from friends.
Right.
Sometimes it's very hard to grasp the concept looking from the outside in, but I'm quite fortunate in the sense that I came from a background of go-karting when I was younger, in the aim of trying to chase the real roots of motorsport, as you do, and then I went from the go-karting into the sim world, the esports world.
Right.
And my family they never needed convincing once. They were very much on board with me and very encouraging of this entire time, which is something I realise I'm very lucky to have, because that's maybe it's not a perspective that necessarily happens all the time. It's a case by case thing, So I think, and there's definitely been times, situations, people that have had absolutely no idea why I do what I do and why I'm putting so much time into it, and I've had a lot of people doubt me along the way as well, which gives me great satisfaction equally, because
Right.
I am very, very determined when someone tries to tell me I can't, if that makes sense. With all this, when I look back at all the things that I've pushed to try and achieve, because I'm always trying to chase something else. My sights are always leveling up. My standards are outrageously high to the point that it's almost like insane, the standards I try and set for myself when it comes to racing and driving. So I think people didn't understand that, whether it was just generally or just people, again, as I say, looking from the outside, and there's definitely been people along the way that have not had a clue why I'm doing it, and probably never thought.
Never will.
Never thought I would have got to the point I have. I know that for a fact. So, you know,
well, let me do this. Let me tell you, Lucas. I wanna say congratulations to you. I want to tell you that I truly respect what you and others do, and your team do, for one, brother. So, I definitely want to tell you that. I want to give you your flowers. Right there, right? I think so many people don't give you your flowers. I think so many people don't give other people their flowers because they don't fully understand. And that's the difference between people that are going to reach elite levels and people that just, hey, you know, you just want to do what you want to do. But I think you provided a great motivation, determination, and a glimpse of people to understand like what you, Lucas, have done and what it's taken for you to accomplish that. And it's not easy, brother. It's not easy. So I want to salute you, give you your flowers, tell you I hope and wish the best for you. I hope you reach all of your goals. I hope that you and the McLaren F1 team, the family, the esports team, and your brothers around you that I saw embrace you in that moment, which was such a beautiful moment too. I wish you all the best doing that forward, man.
Thanks so much, dude. It's been, it's super nice to hear these things because you don't always hear that sort of thing. So, I mean, honestly, I appreciate that so much, dude. It's been, been a pleasure. Thanks, man.
Hey, no problem. I hope you'll come back and visit us again. That was Lucas giving us a glimpse into what it is to be a champion, not only as a driver, but with a team in McLaren as constructors. I'm going to wish you your best going into the 2023 season. This is another episode of Performance Talk. I'm your host, Jay. That's Lucas Championship Blakely from McLaren Shadow Racing Team. Big shout out to y'all. We'll see you all soon. Peace. Thanks for watching another episode of Wolfpack Performance. Don't forget to check out some of my other content on Formula One and motorsports topics. Like, share, subscribe, and we go live on the weekends. See you soon.